In the winter of 1982, a helicopter flies over the icy wasteland of Antarctica. Chasing a husky across the snow, a man inside frantically fires a rifle at the fleeing dog and throws grenades, determined to kill it. The husky sprints toward Outpost 31, an American research station where a 12-man crew is preparing for the harsh winter ahead. The men look up, puzzled as the helicopter, marked with Norwegian insignia, lands nearby. Two men jump out, shouting in a foreign language, their voices urgent and panicked. Suddenly, one of them pulls the pin on a grenade, but in his panic he drops it behind him. The pilot desperately searches for it in the snow, but before he can react, the grenade explodes, killing him and destroying the helicopter. The surviving man, still in a frenzy, raises his rifle and starts shooting wildly. No one understands what he's saying. A bullet hits Bennings in the leg. Before anyone can stop him, the camp leader, Gary, pulls out his pistol and shoots the man dead. Silence settles over the camp, broken only by the wind and the soft panting of the husky. Something is terribly wrong. Confused about why the Norwegians were so desperate to kill the dog, helicopter pilot McCready and the team's doctor, Copper, set out to investigate the Norwegian base. When they arrive, they find the station in ruins. Fire and explosions have torn through the buildings, leaving gaping holes in the walls. A fire axe is embedded in one of them, a silent sign of the chaos that took place. Inside, everyone is dead. One man, frozen solid in a chair inside the radio room, had barricaded himself in before slitting his wrists and throat in what appears to be a desperate suicide. As McCready and Copper search further, they discover something strange, a massive empty block of ice. Outside, among the charred remains of human bodies, they stumble upon something even more disturbing, the burnt and frozen corpse of a grotesque, twisted creature. It is neither fully human nor fully animal. Bringing the eerie corpse back to their own base, they hand it over to biologist Blair for an autopsy. Yet, despite its horrific, misshapen appearance, Blair finds only a normal set of internal organs inside. Something doesn't add up. That night, the new stray husky is locked in a kennel with the team's sled dogs. The other dogs quickly react with fear, growling and snarling at the newcomer. Suddenly, the husky transforms into a grotesque creature, sprouting tentacles and crab-like legs before attacking the other dogs. The commotion is discovered by dog handler Clark, who watches in horror. Mac hears the thing's unearthly groans and the terrified cries of the sled dogs. Reacting instantly, he sounds the fire alarm, waking the entire camp. The team rushes to the kennel, where they witness the monstrous, dog-like creature seemingly consuming the other sled dogs. As the chaos unfolds, part of the creature splits from the main body and pulls itself up through the ceiling. The team fires their guns at the beast, before ultimately incinerating it with a flamethrower. An autopsy performed by Blair on the thing's remains reveals its secret. The thing is an alien organism that imitates other life forms by attacking and either digesting or dissolving them, then reshaping itself to mimic the appearance of the animal or person it kills. The team also watches a videotape of the Norwegian team working at a remote location, forming a circle around an object in the ice and using thermite charges to uncover it. The following day, McCready flies with Palmer and Norris to the site where the Norwegians had been working. They find an alien spaceship in an open crater and rappel down to investigate. Mac asks Norris how long the ship has been entombed. Norris estimates that it has been there for at least 100,000 years. Above the crash site, they discover that a section of the ice cap is missing, where the thing had been buried and later removed by the Norwegians. Back at Outpost 31, Mac theorizes that the Norwegians awakened the creature after thawing its ice block, at which point it immediately began to attack them. That evening, Blair studies cells from the thing and observes them attacking and assimilating other cells on his computer screen. As he types his report, the computer calculates a 75% probability that one or more team members are already infected. It further predicts that if the alien organism reaches civilization, it will infect and overrun Earth's population within 27,000 hours, approximately 37 months, or just over 3 years after first contact. The team decides to store the creature's remains in a storage room. Later, assistant biologist Fuchs asks to speak privately with Mac. He reveals that he has been reviewing Blair's notes and discovered that Blair believes the organism's cells are still alive and active, even in the burned remains of both creatures. Blair has also theorized that the alien may have imitated thousands of other life forms across space. While Windows and Bennings prepare the room to store the remains recovered from the Norwegian base, The remains begin to move beneath the blanket covering them. When Windows returns to the room, he finds Bennings being attacked, wrapped in writhing tentacles. Panicked, Windows rushes to alert the other team members. But by the time they arrive, Bennings has escaped through the storage room window. They find him outside in the snow, his transformation nearly complete, except for his hands, which remain grotesquely large and misshapen. Mac and the team incinerate him alive, then burn the remains of the two other creatures along with him. Realizing that the creature could potentially take over the world if it escaped, Blair appears to lose his mind. He kills the surviving sled dogs and destroys the helicopter along with the communications equipment, injuring Windows in the process and trapping the crew without hope of rescue. The others, viewing Blair as a dangerous threat, subdue him, lock him in the camp's tool shed, and sedate him. The next morning, paranoia tightens its grip on the camp. No one knows who might be the thing. Doc Copper proposes a blood serum test, but the blood bags have been deliberately slashed, making the test impossible. Suspicion falls on Copper, Gary, and Clark, prompting MacReady to quarantine them and take command. As a brutal whiteout storm traps the team inside, fear and distrust intensify. Mac turns to Fuchs, who has found only vague theories in Blair's notes. Fearing contamination, Fuchs advises everyone to eat only from sealed cans. That evening, Fuchs tries to figure out how the thing spreads, but he's attacked when the power goes out. Later, Mac, Knowles, and Windows find his burned body in the snow. It's unclear if the thing killed him or if he burned himself to avoid being infected. Suspicious, Mac and Knowles go to Mac's shack to check out its lights, which are strangely on. After a while, Knowles returns to camp shivering and reveals he found torn clothes with Mac's name in MacReady's shack. Fearing he's infected, he cut Mac's safety line and left him outside. Locked out, Mac breaks in, grabs dynamite, and threatens to blow everyone up if they don't back off. As tensions escalate, Norris suddenly collapses from an apparent heart attack. They bring him to Dr. Copper, who tries to revive him using defibrillator paddles. Suddenly, Norris's chest splits open into a monstrous mouth, biting off Copper's arms. MacReady uses a flamethrower to destroy the thing, leaving only its head, which detaches and sprouts spider-like legs. And tries to escape before being incinerated. MacReady comes up with a plan to identify the thing by testing blood. He explains that the creature's blood will try to defend itself if it feels threatened. During the tense moment, Clark suddenly attacks MacReady with a scalpel, but MacReady shoots and kills him. The group ties everyone up, including the bodies of Clark and Copper, to begin the test. Windows tests negative, confirming he's human, and MacReady arms him with a flamethrower. When Palmer's blood is tested, it reacts violently, exposing him as the thing. He then transforms into a monstrous creature. MacReady's flamethrower jams as the Palmer thing's head splits open into a massive mouth, biting Windows. He quickly fixes the weapon and incinerates the creature. But Windows, now infected, is beyond saving. To stop the spread, MacReady is forced to burn him as well. MacReady and the three remaining survivors, Childs, Gary, and Knowles, are confirmed to be uninfected. MacReady orders Childs to stay behind and guard the camp while he, Gary, and Knowles check on Blair to administer the blood test. When they reach the shed, they find it empty. Blair has escaped through the floor and has been secretly building a small spacecraft in the tunnels beneath the camp. They are confused when they see Childs running off into the storm, but before they can react, the compound's power suddenly shuts off. At that moment, they realize Blair is the last remaining thing, and that it intends to freeze itself until a rescue team arrives, as it has no other way to escape. Accepting that survival is unlikely, and that the infection must be stopped, they decide to destroy the base to prevent the thing from freezing again. MacReady, Knowles, and Gary begin setting the complex on fire using Molotov cocktails. While venturing into the basement of the camp to set TNT charges, Gary is attacked and killed by the infected Blair, who consumes him. Knowles appears to be looking at something before he vanishes, never to be seen again. MacReady realizes that the others are missing and begins searching for them. Suddenly, a massive tentacled Blair thing bursts from below, destroying his detonator. In a last last-ditch effort, MacReady lights a stick of dynamite and throws it at the creature. The explosion annihilates both the thing and the entire compound, but MacReady survives. Stumbling through the wreckage, MacReady returns to his ruined shack and finds Childs waiting inside. Childs explains that he chased after Blair, but got lost in the storm. Neither knows if the other is infected by the thing. Suspicious and drained, they sit across from each other, weapons in hand, ready to act at the first sign of danger. As the camp burns around them, they share a bottle of whiskey in tense silence. The two men remain seated, weary and distrustful. They wait, not for rescue, but for the inevitable, the fire to die, the cold to claim them, and the silence to become permanent.
If you loved this recap, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss out on more free movie recaps. Got a movie in mind that you want us to break down? Drop your suggestions in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you.